Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. Thanks so much for joining me for another episode of Learn with Flo. I'm really pumped about today's conversation because we're going to be taking a little bit of a different direction. It still very much applies, as you'll see, as I connect the dots to obviously our physical health, but with my practice and at the lowdown, a lot of the success that I have seen with a lot of my patients has really come not just from mastering maybe the physical side of their health, but also them being willing to dive into the mindset, right? A lot of the mind-body medicine approach, and even just the power of our self-talk, the power of our belief systems, what we believe to be potentially possible, what we believe to be true, whether it's like, is that actually true, or is that some sort of limiting belief that we learned at some point in time in our lives and actually is holding us back from seeing success now, right? So when we really think about it and zoom out, the mindset is something that's incredibly powerful and, like I said, often overlooked in the overall root cause medicine game. So we at the Lowdown definitely want to change that. We're going to bring it forefront. We're going to talk about it from day one. It's going to be a part of the treatment plan that's going to be woven in behind the scenes, because I find that a lot of times the mental piece can either be that game changer that really kind of takes the physical progress, success that they've gotten and take it to the next level. Or for some individuals, the mindset is what prevents them from even starting the journey to begin with. So either way, it can be a very real barrier. And more often than not, what I see with individuals is you're going to face it at some point in time in your journey, right? Some people, it's like at the very start because it's what they have to overcome to even get them going into any of the physical interventions. And for some people, the physical interventions take them so far, and then the mental mindset shifts come into play to really bring things full circle. So regardless of where it's at, this conversation is going to probably benefit you at some point in time, whether it's immediately right now, or something that, like I said, maybe you haven't really thought about on your overall hormone healing journey, gut health healing journey, really taking yourself from a place where maybe you just feel like every day you're barely surviving. And now you really want to take yourself to a place where you feel like your health and your vitality is really thriving. That's what I do at the Lowdown, right? So today, like I said, I really want to dive into this powerful topic. It lies really at the heart of any health and healing journey. And that's, what are the mindset shifts that I see that are required for individuals to really thrive? And what are those mindset shifts that I've seen really move the needle and be game changing in terms of someone's overall physical and or spiritual, mental, emotional transformation, right? So when we think about healing, right, I just use that word all encompassing of whatever symptoms we're struggling with, whatever even just, some people call it a little bit of like crises that you're dealing with. You're like, who am I? What is my purpose in the world? What am I here to achieve? And just not feeling like you're living up to your fullest potential every day. A lot of times when we think about healing, right, we think about, all of kind of the low hanging fruit, right? It's easy to solely focus on like, what am I eating? How much am I eating? Or what supplements am I taking? Or what lab results am I chasing, right? But really the truth is the mindset is the foundation that really holds all of this together. And so science does show us, yes, there is a lot of science to really back up our claims that we're talking about this mind-body medicine. It's not completely woo-woo. A lot of research shows us that the mind-body connection isn't just like, oh, this nice idea. Like, it is a biological reality, right? We've seen studies that really dig into this topic called neuroplasticity. Really just a fancy way of saying like, hey, our thoughts shape our biology, and also we can change our thoughts and therefore change our biology, right? So a lot of the neuroplasticity is really just coming to this table of like, what do I believe to be true, and is that really true, or is that something that's holding me back from seeing success, whether that's business success, relationship success, financial success, or physical health success. So when we see these studies on neuroplasticity, we do see a very tight correlation between our thoughts and our beliefs, and being able to like physically rewire our brains, which impacts everything in our body, all the way from stress levels to immune function. And on the flip side, like chronic stress and fear and a negative outlook can also activate the body's stress response, driving inflammation and even slowing down the healing process, right? So you get this two-way street, right? The physical body can impact our mental state, and our mental state can impact the physical body. This bidirectional relationship between the mind and the body, from a scientific perspective, if you want to dive into more of that, like on your own and get more sciencey, it is the study of what we call psychoneuroimmunology. You can break that down and think psycho is more like our thoughts and our beliefs, our emotional frequencies. Neuro is how our brain is wired to have those thoughts and those beliefs and those emotions as our default state, right? It's like you're not even consciously thinking about it, but like that is just your default state, right? Some people are the glass half empty, glass half full type of people, right? So we have kind of this default mode that our brain goes to. And then the immunology part of it shows us how it actually impacts our physical body in terms of how our nervous system, how our immune system responds to the body as a whole, certain pathogens, all of that good stuff, right? So at the Lowdown, we do acknowledge that and respect this dynamic between the body and really emphasizing a holistic approach, like holistic in the term of like WHOLE, like the whole body, to encompass both mental and emotional patterns in our treatment plans, just like addressing the physical side of the body as well too. So lots of different mindset shifts that we're going to kind of talk about today. I want to really discuss how we want to reframe our approach to healing and maybe why you may have been hitting some roadblocks in your journey. And I really hope that this conversation finds you at just the right time, whether, like I said, it's the stumbling blocks that have stopped you from even being able to get started with a lot of the physical journey consistently enough, or whether you feel like you've really dove into a lot of the physical consistency work, whether it's nutrition and exercise and movement and detoxification and gut health and supplementation, but you feel like there's just this piece left that you can't quite overcome. So grab your tea, grab your water, take a deep breath, and let's really dive into the Lowdown mindset shifts that I feel like are essentially important on your healing journey. So I broke this down into my top 5. I could probably make 15 different mindset shifts, but I tried to really encompass them down to my top 5. So number 1 is moving from this, what I call quick fix mentality, to more of a root cause resolution mentality. By far and away, this is definitely one of those mindsets that I find hold a lot of people back, because we do live in a microwave culture, right? We are here for like instant gratification, quick fix. I want the headache gone now. I want the weight off yesterday. I want my energy back immediately. And if I try one thing and I don't feel different doing it once, then it didn't work and I throw it out the window, right? We have this like really, really entrainment into like instant gratification, instant results, everything should happen now or it's not worth doing, right? But really, healing is going to be the true, deep, sustainable healing. We know this, but I think sometimes we have to get our brain on board of it doesn't happen overnight. Obviously, we didn't get to where we're at overnight, so we can't expect things to necessarily just like change overnight. And in this world of more functional medicine or more root cause medicine, we really want to make sure that we're getting to the root of your symptoms, and that process takes time. We're not just suppressing symptoms. That's what a quick fix culture does, is it's going to suppress the headache now, but the headache is just a sign of inflammation and stress in the body that's going to show up somewhere else. So you can suppress the headache now, and all of a sudden it shows up as like bloating and constipation later. And then you throw a different medication or Band-Aid on top of the bloating and the constipation, and you just start to chase things, and your body will manifest it. It will get your attention. It just may look at different like systems to flare them up in order to get your attention. It's like, oh, you didn't get the attention with the headache? Great, let me just transfer that to your gut now. Oh, great, let me just transfer that to your low back pain, right? It's going to travel around the body until you listen to it, right? And start to really work to unravel what might be years or sometimes decades of different imbalances in the body. So Healing definitely isn't linear. It's not perfect, but I always like to think of it more like you're tending to a garden, right? It's like you can't just come through and like trim the weeds off the top at the surface. Like obviously the root of the weed is still there. It's going to grow right back. It's like, but are you coming in and really nurturing the soil, taking out the weeds from the root, planting seeds, waiting for growth, giving it lots of love, like water and sunshine and lots of nourishment, right? The results are worth it, but sometimes it does require patience and a little bit of persistence because, like I said, that quick fix mentality is deep. It's deep in our medical culture and our medical system. That quick fix culture is very deep in terms of our diet culture as well too, right? It's everywhere and it's very persistent. So we have to be there to recognize like, ooh, yeah, that subconscious program, that's not working for me. It makes me like quit early before anything actually ever takes off. And it's probably someone's biggest point of sabotage because they just keep jumping around looking for all these Band-Aid solutions. And before they know it, they're a decade in and they're on 8 different medications or 20 different supplements and they don't even know why they're on them. I'm like, yeah, we're not really getting to the root. We're just chasing some of those more quick fixes, Band-Aid solutions. So that's mindset shift number 1 is moving from quick fix to root cause resolution mentality. And all of a sudden your potential for progress opens up drastically, right? A whole new ball game here. I was just to share a quick little story because I like stories. I was talking to, a potential new client last week and her and I got into the conversation. She was on quite a few medications and even like some weight loss peptides, anti-anxiety medications, IBS medications, like quite a few. And I had just straight up asked her, I was like, what's your ultimate goal? I was like, is your ultimate goal to like, you know, keep these medications on board and just feel as great as you can, like filling the gap of what you feel like these medications aren't doing for you? I go, or is your ultimate goal to like be able to get off of these medications and kind of ask why? Why is your body struggling with anxiety? Why is your body struggling with IBS? Why are we struggling to lose weight consistently? And I was like, there's no right or wrong answer to that question. I was like, it just helps me as a practitioner understand like, where's your mindset at? Because it's going to be 2 different treatment plans for me, right? I was like, if you want to keep the medications on board and just feel as good as you can to kind of fill the gap, I go, that would be me like maybe helping you with like some nutritional changes and maybe some strategic supplements to fill the gap. I was like, but if we're asking the question of why, and we're like really going to dig into the root and you want some sort of exit strategy to be able to get off of these medications in the future, I go, we're going to dig deeper. I go, and it's going to be a lot different than like surface level conversations. We're going to start asking why. We're going to start testing for some of those things that help us answer the question of why. And she's like, no, I'm here for the why. I'm like, okay, let's go, right? So it's just establishing what that mindset was for her, because that really dictated then like my treatment plan, because I can only meet somebody at the level of the mindset where they're at right now, right? If I'm talking about deeper root cause stuff and that's not where her mindset's at, then we're going to be at a disconnect, right? So moving from quick fix to root cause resolution really opens up a whole new potential possibility for healing. Number 2, mindset shift, is moving from asking the question of what's wrong with me to the mindset of what is my body trying to tell me? This is a biggie, right? Our conventional medicine mindset is pretty much steeped in chasing the what you have, right? That's kind of the goal of more of the conventional medicine model right now, is to draw labs, listen to symptoms, and end up with some sort of label, right? You have anxiety, you have IBS, you have Crohn's disease, you have premenstrual dysphoric disorder, you have like secondary infertility. Like that is their goal, is to put a label on it and to tell you what you have. Whereas to me, what we need to be asking is more, why do I have this symptom, right? Or what is this symptom trying to tell me? So every symptom in the body is a signal. It is not a betrayal from your body. It is strictly communication. And your body can't speak in terms of words. It can only express in terms of symptoms or communication. So that is the body's language. That's the body's love language, is symptoms. Like, I'm feeling energized and I'm feeling inspired. I'm feeling joyful. I'm feeling grateful. Like, That's the body's communication of things going well, versus I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling fatigued, I'm feeling bloated. It's like that's another form, that's another language from the body, right? So whether it is fatigue, brain fog, bloat, joint pain, it's like your body's always trying to tell you something of what is or what it needs or what's out of balance within. And the body doesn't just turn on a dime on us, right? I think sometimes we think that, and again, that's more of a conventional medicine thinking, is like, I'm good, and all of a sudden I have cancer. And it's like, okay, whoa, like the body doesn't do that. It's like those things have been building for quite a while. Most of the time before there's like a pretty big diagnosis, it's like, I'm good, I have diabetes. It's like, the body doesn't do that. Like it's probably sent you a lot of communication signals along the way to try to get your attention that something wasn't right, but we didn't listen, or we kind of came in with a bunch of cover-up strategies. And so then we end up with like kind of this big scary like diagnosis or this label, when in reality, a lot of communication was probably happening before that time. So instead, we want to kind of take these symptoms and ask things like, what is my body trying to tell me? Shifts us away from feeling like a victim of our body or kind of like out of control of our body, and feeling like an active participant in the healing process, which feels so much calmer for our nervous system and really promotes a better neuroplasticity place to heal from. So this mindset shift does help build a lot of trust between you and your body. It helps you hone the ability to listen to your intuition, listen to your body signals, versus always seeking some sort of like external validation for that. So start to see your symptoms not as enemies or, like I said, as betrayal, but as like valuable clues and valuable allies, really to help guide you towards that deeper healing. Mindset shift number 3 is moving from a place of like self-criticism to a place of self-compassion and belief that you are worth healing. This is a big one. Not gonna lie, as it probably sounds like from the title, we kind of move a lot in there, but I see a lot of individuals that really struggle with like the way that their brain talks to themselves, right? A lot of people being very self-critical, and in being very self-critical, whether it's more perfectionist tendencies or more like feelings of failure kind of tendencies, right? That can be a very big roadblock to healing. We need to convert more of that self-critical nature to being more compassionate with ourselves, more understanding of ourselves, and also meeting ourselves in a place where we truly believe that we're worth doing the work for, right? Because if you don't believe that you're worthy of feeling good, then you're probably not going to fuel yourself well. You're probably not going to move your body. You probably won't care about things like sleep, right? You probably will care less about things like hydration, right? Those would be someone that's like doesn't have a whole lot of like self-worth. Right? So it runs deep from a psychological aspect, but just know that your body does hear everything that your brain thinks, right? So it's not just this disconnect where I have like this floating shell of a head on a body. It's like anything your brain thinks, whether it's about yourself or someone else or limiting beliefs, your body hears that and it takes it as truth, right? Because it's like, well, I don't know any different. So if you're telling me like, you're a slob and you're, the worst human, it's like, of course your body's going to hear that and respond accordingly. So the messages that you tell yourself, whether they are kind or they are critical, they do shape the way that your body functions. So negative self-talk like, oh, I'll never feel better, or why can't I get this right? It does trigger your body's stress response, including things like inflammation, slowing down healing. But on the other hand, more compassionate or positive self-talk, it's not just fluff, right? Research actually shows that it can shift your brain chemistry, and you are literally your own pharmacy in your brain, right? So it's like you create through our thoughts, especially our repetitive thoughts and beliefs, you create your own pharmacy of like feel-good chemicals called neurotransmitters in the brain, which travel to the body, calm down inflammation, reduce stress hormones like cortisol, increase things like dopamine and serotonin, which are great for healing. So replacing criticism with compassion is literally choosing to speak to yourself kindly and reinforcing the belief that you are worthy of healing. Like, you have to believe that healing is possible. And so if you don't believe that, your body is going to be designed to adapt, recover, and respond appropriately, right? If we want our body to thrive, but you're constantly doubting that you'll ever feel better and you're kind of creating this mental block, that absolutely will impact outcomes. And on the flip side, though, changing that internal dialogue and mantra to things like, I am healing, I am making progress, my body is working for me, not against me, can create a really powerful feedback loop between your brain and your body. And I always tell people, if you're used to being very self-critical and you've been kind of perfectionist tendencies a lot of your life, or more type A tendencies, you will feel so silly at first with some of these morning mantras, daily affirmations, things that we're repeating to our brain. You will feel absolutely ridiculous and absolutely silly at first, because your brain is almost triggering. They're like, you can say that, but that's not true. You don't believe that, right? And so it's going to take repetition, just like playing a tape. You didn't develop more of those self-critical thoughts and self-talk overnight. So reversing them is also going to take the same amount of repetition. So remember, you're not just healing the physical body, you are healing the relationship with yourself. Really is what it is. So let that relationship be something that's built in kindness, encouragement, and just an unwavering ability to believe that healing is possible, right? So this is a big one. And I know that will, like I said, take some time, but maybe if you feel like you are someone that's very self-critical with yourself, you have a lot of more of those negative self-talk patterns, engaging in more of the positive self-talk patterns. There's a ton of different apps. I like to use a lot of different meditative or breath work apps, affirmation type therapies too. One of my favorite freebies, just so you can download it, is an app called Insight Timer, INSIGHT. I just like people to start there. There's tons of different ones, but that one is completely free. You don't have to pay for the plus or the premium version. And that Insight Timer app has a lot of daily morning mantras, morning affirmations that can be very helpful to just dip your toes in starting that journey of moving to being more self-critical to a lot more self-compassionate too. Mindset number 4, we have 2 left. Mindset number 4 is moving from this mindset of having to fit in to moving to a mindset of owning your own unique path. Here's the truth. I'm not going to lie to you. Healing often requires stepping out of your comfort zone and also stepping away from what is mainstream and embracing a path that feels uniquely yours, right? Why? Well, number 1, let's just throw out the fact that right now we're in a state where over 65% of Americans are chronically ill, obese, and sick. Right? Because they go with the majority. They are out there eating the standard American diet, so they're getting the standard American diseases. They are using the standard American pharmaceutical products, and they're in the system, right? They're kind of stuck in that cycle. And so if you, like I said, don't want to get taken by the wave of let's be real, a very intentional obesity epidemic, right? The obesity epidemic that has been created in this country is not accidental, right? Very intentional, very purposeful. There's lots of money behind it. So people be feeding that machine like nobody's business, right? So just know this has been a slow build, and we're just now tipping into where being obese and chronically ill is the majority. You are no longer the minority being that way. Now you're the minority if you're operating and sitting in normal stadium seats comfortably, and you're sitting in airplane seats comfortably. I'm that's the minority of people now, right? So it might mean that you're following dietary changes that others don't understand. It might mean that you're declining invitations because you need to protect your energy and your boundaries, because you live in a world that is just go, go, go hustle culture, and nobody's used to someone telling them no. Setting a boundary, right? You might even be someone that's questioning conventional medical advice, right? And you're favoring more of a holistic approach. That is okay, right? That is a mindset shift that some people can't get out of because they're in what I call a comfort crisis, right? Your brain is wired to stick with something that's familiar even if it's not working, even if it's slowly killing you, and it's like, but it's familiar and it's safe, and so therefore it's comfortable, even if it's slowly killing me. Wild, I know, but this is how your brain works, and that's why the science of neuroplasticity and understanding some of these subconscious patterns or mindsets and shifting them is so key. Right? That's why I'm bringing it up and talking about it so passionately. So we might continue to make some of the same choices or staying in situations that feel comfortable, even if they're actually preventing us from healing. It's easy to fall back into old habits, even if they're unhealthy for us. And we know they're unhealthy for us because the brain literally craves safety, and it craves what it knows is familiar. So if you want to heal, though, you want to choose different, you have to choose different, right? And that's going to require like you to become conscious of those types of things. You have to be willing to step outside of that comfort zone into something that might feel a little bit funky or clunky, might feel a little unknown, because that's really where true transformation happens. So choosing to honor your own unique path, embracing discomfort that comes with change, and getting uncomfortable or getting comfortable being uncomfortable, that's where growth and healing really requires like breaking free from what is just familiar. It will feel difficult at first, it will feel clunky, you will try, you will fail. That is the whole process of creating a mindset shift. It's a whole process of creating like a new habit. But when you accept that right now, like I said, the majority of individuals are going down a path that doesn't support healing, you might start to accept like that's okay to be different, right? It doesn't mean that it's a condescending kind of different. It's not a better than thou kind of different. It's not an ego-driven different. It's just like, hey, I'm okay choosing differently than the majority. I'm okay going to a restaurant and ordering something that feels best for me and my goals, even if everybody else is ordering something different, right? You may have to like free yourself. Sorry, I thought my phone was falling. Free yourself from the weight of societal norms and expectations, and really like open up space to become kind of what you know feels best for you. So that's something that I love cultivating with my clients is like, what feels good for you? And I'm like, and then even in any situation, like going to a restaurant or navigating boundaries or anything, I'm like, what feels best for you? They're like, well, I really wanted to say no because like she called me and like I immediately contracted in my body and my stomach got tight and I felt my heart start to race. I'm like, so your body was communicating with you, right? Like a hard no. And they're like, yeah, but I said yes anyway. I'm like, well, that's like literally our body's like, well, I tried to tell you, right? So if your gut hurts or you feel constipated tomorrow or you can't sleep well tonight or you feel puffy and inflamed, like I tried to tell you that felt like a hard no, but you didn't listen to that hard no, right? Your body will get your attention in other ways, right? That's just how it works. So you may find yourself, like I said, like needing to know how to stay uniquely to your own path, set some boundaries, and learn how to listen to some of those internal guidance factors. The very last one, nice and short and sweet and brief, is moving from the mentality of I have to do this alone to healing happens in community. Let's talk for just a brief second about hyper-independence. It is a trauma response, right? That feeling that you have to figure it all out on your own, or that asking for help somehow means you're weak or you're ignorant or you're failing, right? Hyper-independence really comes from a place of fear. Comes from a place of fear of being let down, fear of losing control, fear of appearing weak in any of those situations, that feeling like you have to like carrying the weight of your entire healing journey alone can honestly be a form of self-sabotage because we know we can't do it. And so it's going to give us like a really nice out, like when we fail or if we fail, we already kind of knew we were going to. It's like, see, I knew I was going to fail. So it's familiar to fail, even though we know it's not working for us. It's like our brain is so wild in that situation. But true strength really understands like there are people there to support you, and there are others that have been on your same journey. Even if you don't think so, there's others that have been on your same journey and succeeded, and they're there to guide you. Right? It's like, I've been here before. Let me help like shrink the timeline because I went on it myself. Took me 10 years to figure out and get all clunky and funky. I can help you achieve it in like a year, in which took me 10 years, right? Ask for help. It is so much faster. It's so much more effective to really like expand your overall community and your team. So the truth is though, like out there, especially in like the functional medicine space, holistic healing, alternative healing, healthcare space, there's a lot of information, a lot of misinformation. It's really overwhelming to know what is right for you. Right? You're not meant to do this alone, right? That's the whole point of more of a functional medicine is it's built on collaboration, partnership between your practitioner and the patient, as well as tons of different support systems. And like I said, taking that like healing timeline and being able to shrink it down so that it's not something to where you feel like this constant, like try and fail and try and fail and try and fail. It's probably because you're not doing the right things. You're putting in lots of great effort, but maybe not the right things, or maybe like we've talked about before on past episodes of Learn with Flo, the right things, but in the wrong order of operations. There's lots of different things that a community can provide, or even just like coaching and mentorship can provide. So I want to kind of, like I said, leave you guys with those 5 mindset shifts, and knowing those 5 mindset shifts, and especially thinking about, like I said, going and doing it alone, understanding the more like quick fix to moving into a root cause mentality, understanding like what is my body trying to communicate with me versus like living behind a label of like what is wrong with me. This is exactly why, like I said, I created support for you, whether that's one-on-one support for us together, or what I would recommend is jump into my Hormone Harmony starter bundle that I put together for you guys here in the month of December just for this reason, right? It includes my Master Your Metabolism Masterclass. It includes my intuitive interpretation guide for wearable technology. You can start to get in tune with what are the communications coming from my body. What about sleep? What about stress? What about menstrual cycles and cycle syncing? What about blood sugar balance and energy, right? What type of lab should I ask for? I bundle this all together for you so that you can dive in and not do this journey alone, but start to really get support from all areas that are going to be the foundational pieces of moving the needle from a healing perspective. So they will help you with these mindset shifts because it's going to unite the mind, body, medicine in more of that bi-directional relationship. So if you haven't checked out my Hormone Harmony Starter Bundle, click the link in my bio. It will take you right there. It is on special all the way through the month of December. Get on it now though, because this is like a super, super valuable bundle.